Sessions fired back at the president, you might say, in a statement saying in part, "While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations." Well, today, Trump ramped up his war of words against Sessions. In a tweet, he mocked Sessions' statement about refusing to politicize the department. "Jeff, this is great, what everyone wants. So look into all the corruption on the other side." Well, Trump then listed the political opponents he wanted the department to investigate. Well, compare that with Trump's tweet Wednesday when he wrote, "I feel very badly for Paul Manafort and his wonderful family. Justice took a 12-year-old tax case, among other things, applied tremendous pressure on him. And unlike Michael Cohen, he refused to break." So Trump wants to pardon his friends and to go after his enemies. According to Axios, that kind of disconnect reflects Trump's fantasy legal system, noting Trump wants a top law enforcement official, his attorney general, to be far more sympathetic to his views on laws and loyalty. Well, the report goes on to add, a source close to Trump said the expectation of unwavering loyalty is a core operating principle for Trump. From where I'm joined by Mika Ouyang, Vice President for the National Security Program at Third Way, and Charlie Sykes, contributing editor at the Weekly Standard. Charlie, this is pretty overt, isn't it? The president basically, like he told the Russians to go after Hillary's emails, now he's telling his attorney general to act like the old-time attorney generals and start going after his political enemies. Doing it just that way.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to overstate the contempt and ignorance that he has about the concept of the rule of law or the independence of the Department of Justice. But I keep thinking that Donald Trump is saying out loud what somebody like Richard Nixon might have said in private. That
yeah.
we're seeing this attitude of using the Department of Justice, using the legal system as a cudgel to attack your enemies and then basically protect your cronies. And he's actually saying it in public, not caught on tape. He's saying it on cable television. It really is extraordinary. And you know, the irony, of course, is that Jeff Sessions is the Trumpiest member of the Trump cabinet, right? I mean, he's the most closely aligned, and yet he lacks the one thing that really matters to Donald Trump, which is this glandular, unthinking, personal loyalty and willingness to protect the president.
Mika, do you back that up? Because it seems to me that's right, that his anger against Jeff Sessions is not that he's not tough enough on immigration. They're both tough on illegal immigration, let's face it. They're both right-wingers. They're both have that sentiment on the hard right. His problem, according to Trump, is he didn't protect Trump from prosecution. That's his problem.
That's right. And what you see with Jeff Sessions is somebody who's very loyally pursuing the Trump agenda, and that policy agenda means nothing to the president. He doesn't care that Jeff Sessions is banning Muslims and helping to separate families at the border and doing all these other things and reviewing people's citizenship status, all things that are really outside of the American norms. All he cares about is that this attorney general is settling scores about who Trump cares about. He wants it to be very personal to him, and that is not something that we've ever seen historically. We've seen attorney generals take on a president's policy agenda, never their personal agenda.
Amika, I don't know if you watch gangster movies, but I don't know if you saw The Untouchables, where Robert De Niro goes around with a baseball bat at one of his meetings of his capos and knocks the head and kills a guy off, one of his guys. Why doesn't the president just get rid of, why does he just get rid of Jeff Sessions? Fire him tomorrow morning, tonight at midnight. Why not? It's Friday night. Why not do it?
I think that he's been warned by all of his close associates and his Republicans in the Senate that if he fires Jeff Sessions, he's really going to be in an uphill battle. And one of the things that he can't afford to have.
Worse than he is?
Yeah, because
really?
One of the things he can't afford to have are the Republican senators turn on him if the House starts impeachment proceedings and they vote to remove him from office, because then all of that immunity that he is getting from that OLC memo as the sitting president won't apply anymore. He will be able to be indicted and prosecuted if he's not in office, but the senators are the ones standing between him and that fate.
Well, yesterday, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham said he expects Sessions to be fired after the midterms, after November. Politico reports that Tennessee Senator Bob Corker echoed that sentiment, saying it's apparent that after the midterms he will make a change and choose someone to do what he wants done. Sessions does have his share of defenders on the Hill. Of course, here's Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse.
The Attorney General's job is not to be a political hack. The Attorney General's job is to defend the Constitution and to follow the rule of law, and that's what Jeff Sessions is doing. The idea that Jeff Sessions might be fired because he's not a political hack is a very, very bad idea. It's a bad idea for the Constitution. It's a bad idea for public trust. It's a bad idea for the Department of Justice. And frankly, it's a really bad idea for the President of the United States.
Charlie, I wonder who's alone there. Is Corker and and Lindsey Graham the majority, or is Ben Sasse the majority? In the senators, are they on Trump's side, or are they on the side of Jeff Sessions? Whose side are they on?
I think they're standing there with their finger in the wind, trying to see which way this all blows. Look, the Republicans are divided on this, but ultimately it will come down to them. I mean, it will come down to whether or not they're going to draw a bright line. What I thought was stunning about Lindsey Graham's comments was the timing. Here you have the president who is sounding like a mob boss, after these convictions, expressing his contempt for the rule of law. This would be the moment you would think, right, that Republicans in the Senate would caution him, if for no other reason than political self-preservation, do not exercise the nuclear option. Do not try to decimate the leadership of the Department of Justice. No, he not only didn't do that, he appeared to give a green light to something that would be set off a political firestorm and a constitutional crisis. And this, I really get the sense that folks have not completely internalized all of the events of this week and what they mean, the threat to the president, how things have changed this week. I don't think that voters have fully have taken it on board, and I think that members of Congress are still waiting to see what the fallout is going to be, because, look, this was Donald Trump's worst week, but it's going to get worse.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.